2 in the morning, and I'm elbow deep in a busted alternator when my phone buzzes against the workbench. The garage smells like motor oil and disappointment, pretty much the story of my life these days. Rain hammers the tin roof of my auto shop, each drop like a tiny accusation. "We need to talk." Jennifer's voice cuts through the phone speaker, cold as January steel. I wipe my hands on a greasy rag, already knowing this conversation will change everything. 15 years of marriage, and I can read her moods like a repair manual. This isn't about forgetting to pick up milk. "It's late, Jen. Can't this wait until—" "The wedding's off." The wrench slips from my fingers, clattering onto the concrete floor. "What wedding?" "Ours. The renewal ceremony. I can't do this anymore, David. I'm in love with someone else." I should feel something. Rage, heartbreak, shock. Instead, I just feel tired. The kind of bone-deep exhaustion that comes from watching your world crumble in slow motion. "Who?" "It's Damien. The wedding planner. Of course it's the wedding planner." I actually laugh, a short, bitter bark that echoes off the garage walls. "I understand." "You understand?" "Sure. Makes perfect sense. Guy spends his days making other people's dreams come true. Must be refreshing after being married to someone whose biggest accomplishment this year was fixing Mrs. Patterson's transmission." Before we dive deeper into this story, I have one small request. Please subscribe, drop a like, comment, and hit that hype button to boost this channel so more people can discover these incredible Reddit stories. Silence stretches between us like a frayed cable, ready to snap. "David, Save it, Jen. We both know this has been coming for months. All those late nights, planning events, all those weekend conferences. I'm not stupid. I never said you were. No, but you thought it. Every time you looked at me covered in grease, every time your parents asked when I was going to make something of myself, every time Damien showed up in his fancy suits with his perfect smile." The rain intensifies, drumming against the metal roof like an angry crowd demanding answers I don't have. "I'll pack my things tomorrow," she says quietly. "Don't bother. I'll stay at the shop for a few days. Give you time to figure out your next move." After she hangs up, I sit in the dim light of my garage, surrounded by broken machines I actually know how to fix. Unlike my marriage, unlike my life. My phone buzzes again. Text message from an unknown number. A photo of Jennifer and some guy with perfectly styled hair kissing outside the Marriott downtown. The timestamp shows yesterday afternoon. Below the image, "Thought you should know. A friend." I stare at the photo until my eyes water, not from tears, from rage building like pressure in a boiler. Jennifer's hands are tangled in his hair. Her wedding ring catches the light. That's when I remember the spare phone. 3 months ago, Jennifer complained about her iPhone acting up. I gave her my old one as a backup while hers was being repaired. She never returned it. Said she might need it for work emergencies. I find it in the kitchen junk drawer, right where I left it, still connected to her cloud account, still syncing her messages. The first few texts are innocent enough. Planning details, vendor contacts, scheduling conflicts. Then I scroll deeper. "Can't wait to see you tonight. Room 412. D. Last night was incredible. I can't stop thinking about your hands on me. J. Your husband is such a fool. He has no idea what he's losing. D. David's working late again. Perfect timing. See you in an hour. J. I scroll through months of messages, hotel receipts, photos I won't describe, plans made on my birthday while I was at the shop, thinking she was home with a headache. The most recent exchange is from this afternoon. "When are you going to tell him?" D. Tonight. I can't keep pretending. J. Good. I'm tired of sneaking around. We deserve to be happy. D. I know. I just feel guilty about the shop. He's struggling so much. J. Not your problem anymore. He's a grown man. He'll figure it out. D. You're right. I love you. J. Love you too, beautiful. Tomorrow we start our real life together. D. I set the phone down carefully, like it might explode. My hands are remarkably steady for someone whose entire world just shifted off its axis. 15 years. 15 years of working 60-hour weeks to keep the shop afloat. 15 years of coming home exhausted, covered in grease, trying to build something stable for us. 15 years of listening to her parents hint that she could have done better. Turns out, they were right. I walk to the bathroom mirror and take a long look at myself. 42 years old, gray creeping into my brown hair. Lines around my eyes from squinting at engine parts, hands permanently stained with motor oil no amount of scrubbing can remove. When did I become invisible? When did I stop being a man worth fighting for? The answer hits me like a wrench to the gut. I never stopped being that man. I just married someone who never saw me as one in the first place. But that's about to change. I spend the rest of the night reading every message, studying every photo, memorizing every detail of their affair. By dawn, I have a complete picture of their relationship, their favorite hotel, their regular meeting times, their plans for the future. Most importantly, I have ammunition. At 7 a.m., I call Jennifer's office. Elegant Events, this is Monica. Hi, Monica, this is David Pierce, Jennifer's husband. Is she in yet? Oh, hi, Mr. Pierce. No, she's not expected until 10. She had an early meeting with a vendor. Right, the vendor meeting. Thanks. I hang up and check the messages again. No vendor meeting scheduled. Just another lie to cover another rendezvous. My phone rings. Jennifer. David, I'm sorry about last night. I should have handled it better. Where are you? What? Right now. Where are you? A pause. I'm at the office, getting an early start. No, you're not. I just called. Monica said you had a vendor meeting. Another pause, longer this time. Yes. I'm meeting with the florist about the Henderson wedding. Which florist? David, why are you interrogating me? We agreed this was over. Just curious how long you've been lying to me. I haven't been. Room 412 at the Marriott, last Tuesday, my birthday. The silence stretches so long, I think she might have hung up. How did you... Does it matter? The point is, I know everything. David, please. Let's not make this ugly. Too late for that, don't you think? I can hear her breathing, fast and shallow, panic breathing. What do you want? I want you to come home. We need to discuss the terms of our separation. Terms? The shop? The house? Our joint accounts? You know, all those boring details you never cared about when you were busy playing house with Damien. I'll call my lawyer. You do that, but first, you come home. 1 hour. We settle this like adults, or I start making phone calls. What kind of phone calls? The kind that might interest your business partner, your parents, your clients, the kind that include screenshots and timestamps and hotel receipts. You wouldn't. Try me. She hangs up. I pour coffee and wait. 53 minutes later, her car pulls into the driveway. Jennifer looks like she hasn't slept. Her usually perfect hair is pulled back in a messy ponytail, and she's wearing yesterday's clothes. The same clothes she was wearing in the photos with Damien. She sits across from me at our kitchen table like we're strangers negotiating a business deal. Maybe we are. You look tired, I say. Don't. Don't what? Don't pretend to care. You made your position clear on the phone. I slide the backup phone across the table. Her face goes pale when she recognizes it. 3 months, Jennifer. 3 months of messages, photos, hotel receipts, all synced to the cloud, all time-stamped, all saved. She picks up the phone with trembling fingers. You had no right. I had every right. I'm your husband. Not anymore. No, not anymore. But I was when you were using my credit card to pay for hotel rooms. I was when you told me you had food poisoning while you were actually getting cozy with pretty boy Damien. She scrolls through the messages, her face cycling through embarrassment, anger, and something that might be shame. What do you want, David? I want to understand. 15 years. Was any of it real? She sets the phone down and looks at me for the first time since she walked in. Of course it was real. In the beginning. What changed? Everything. Nothing. I don't know. She rubs her temples. You stopped trying. We stopped talking. You disappeared into that garage and I disappeared into my work, and somewhere along the way we became strangers. So you decided to become strangers with someone else? It wasn't planned. Damien and I were working together on the Morrison wedding and we just connected. He listened to me. He made me feel alive again. And I didn't? When was the last time you asked me about my day? Really asked, not just grunted while you read the paper? I want to argue, but she has a point. When did we stop being partners and start being roommates? That doesn't excuse what you did. No, it doesn't, but it explains it. We sit in silence for a moment. Outside, the neighborhood is waking up. Mrs. Kendall from next door is walking her ancient poodle. Normal people living normal lives, unaware that mine is imploding. I want a clean break, Jennifer says finally. No drama, no public scenes. We divide everything fairly and move on. That sounds reasonable? Relief flickers across her face. Good. I'll have my lawyer draw up papers. But I have conditions. The relief vanishes. What conditions? First, you don't get to control the narrative. I'm not going to lie to protect your reputation. What does that mean? It means when people ask why we're getting divorced, I'm going to tell them the truth. You had an affair. David, please. My business depends on my reputation. If word gets out that I'm a cheater, you should have thought about that before you started cheating. Her jaw tightens. Fine. What else? Second, you pay back every dime you spent on hotel rooms with Damien. I have receipts going back 3 months. That's petty. That's justice. You want to cheat on me, fine, but you're not going to make me pay for the privilege. She nods reluctantly. Anything else? Third, you stay away from the shop. It's mine. I built it, I run it, and I don't want you anywhere near it. I never wanted anything to do with that greasy pit anyway. There it is. The contempt she's been hiding for years, finally out in the open. Good. Then we understand each other. She stands up. I'll get my things. Actually, there's one more thing. She freezes halfway to the door. I want to meet him. What? Damien. I want to meet the man who destroyed my marriage. Absolutely not. It wasn't a request. You want this to stay civilized? You want me to keep those photos and messages private? Then you arrange a meeting. David, that's insane. What possible good could come from? Maybe none. But I'm not going to spend the rest of my life wondering what he has that I don't. I want to look him in the eye. She stares at me like I've lost my mind. Maybe I have. Tonight, I continue, somewhere public, one conversation, and then I'll sign whatever papers you want. And if I refuse? I pick up the backup phone and scroll to a particularly explicit photo. Then tomorrow morning, this goes to every client on your contact list. Her face flushes red. You bastard. I'm just a man who's tired of being played for a fool. She grabs her purse and heads for the door. Fine. Tonight, O'Malley's Bar on 5th Street, 8 o'clock. Perfect. It's a date. After she leaves, I sit in the empty kitchen and try to process what just happened. For the first time in months, I feel like I have some control over my life. It's a dangerous feeling. I spend the day at the shop, but I can't concentrate on work. My mind keeps cycling through the conversation, the messages, the photos. By closing time, I've accomplished nothing except wearing a groove in the concrete floor from pacing. At 7:30, I shower and put on my best shirt, which isn't saying much. I look in the mirror and practice what I'm going to say to the man who stole my wife. Nothing sounds right. How do you confront someone who took everything you cared about? What words exist for that kind of betrayal? I guess I'll figure it out when I see him. O'Malley's is exactly what you'd expect from a neighborhood bar. Dim lighting, sticky floors, and the kind of regulars who know each other's drink orders by heart. I arrive early and claim a corner booth where I can watch the door. Jennifer walks in at 8 sharp, followed by a man who looks like he stepped out of a magazine advertisement. Tall, lean, perfectly styled hair, expensive suit. Everything I'm not. They approach my table like they're walking to their own execution. "David," Jennifer says stiffly, "this is Damien Crawford. Damien, this is my husband." Damien extends a manicured hand. "I've heard a lot about you." I stare at his hand until he drops it. "Sit down." They slide into the booth across from me. Damien looks uncomfortable, but Jennifer just looks angry. "So," I say, "you're the home wrecker." "David," Jennifer starts. "I'm talking to him." I keep my eyes on Damien. "You knew she was married." "Yes." "You knew she had a family, a life, commitments." "Yes." "And you decided to pursue her anyway." Damien shifts in his seat. "It wasn't like that. We didn't plan for this to happen." "But it did happen, and you let it continue." "I love her." The words hit me like a physical blow, not because they hurt, though they do, but because of how easily he says them, like it's the most natural thing in the world. "You love her," I repeat. "Yes." "And that makes it okay? Love justifies everything?" "It doesn't justify anything, but it explains it." I turn to Jennifer. "Is that how you feel? Love makes it all okay?" She won't meet my eyes. "It's complicated." "No, it's really not. You made a choice. Every hotel room, every lie, every time you looked me in the eye and pretended everything was fine, those were choices." "You're right," Damien says quietly. "We handled this badly. We should have been honest from the beginning. You should have stayed away from my wife." "Maybe, but I can't change what happened, and I can't change how I feel about her." I study his face, looking for signs of deception or guilt or anything that might give me ammunition, but he just looks tired and sad and maybe a little scared. "What happens now?" I ask. Jennifer and Damien exchange glances. "We're moving to Chicago," she says. "Damien has an opportunity there, a chance to start his own event planning business." "And you're going with him?" "Yes." "When?" "Next month." I nod slowly. "So this was never about fixing our marriage. This was about making your exit strategy as smooth as possible." "David, it's fine. I get it. You found something better and you're taking it. Can't blame a person for that." The relief on their faces is almost comical. They actually think this is going to be easy. "I'm glad you understand," Damien says. "Oh, I understand perfectly. You see something you want, you take it. Consequences be damned." The relief starts to fade. "But here's what I don't understand," I continue. "How you can sit there and talk about love and fresh starts and new opportunities while you're building your happiness on the ruins of someone else's life. That wasn't our intention." "I don't care about your intentions. I care about your actions, and your actions have consequences." Jennifer leans forward. "What does that mean?" I stand up and drop a 20 on the table. "It means Chicago sounds lovely this time of year. I hope you're both very happy there." I'm halfway to the door when Damien calls out, "That's it? You're just going to let us go?" I turn back. What choice do I have? You won, I lost. Game over. But as I walk out into the cool night air, I'm already planning my next move. Because the game isn't over. It's just beginning. The next morning, I wake up with clarity I haven't felt in years. Maybe it's because I finally know where I stand. Maybe it's because I've stopped pretending this marriage can be saved. Or maybe it's because I've decided to stop being the victim in my own story. I make coffee and sit at my kitchen table with a legal pad, sketching out what I know about Jennifer and Damien's relationship, their patterns, their weaknesses, their plans. Jennifer's entire business depends on her reputation. She caters to wealthy couples who expect perfection. Perfect weddings, perfect service, perfect discretion. One whiff of scandal and her client base evaporates. Damien is newer to the business, still building his reputation. He relies heavily on social media and word-of-mouth referrals. His image is everything. The successful, sophisticated wedding planner who makes dreams come true. They're both vulnerable in ways they don't even realize. My phone rings. It's my brother Mike, calling from his law office downtown. "Heard you and Jennifer are having problems," he says without preamble. "News travels fast." "She called me this morning, wants to know if I'll handle the divorce." "And?" "I told her it would be a conflict of interest, but I can recommend someone." "Thanks, but I'm not ready for lawyers yet." "David, don't try to handle this yourself. Divorce is complicated, and you're too emotionally involved to think clearly." "I'm thinking more clearly than I have in years." "That's what worries me. What are you planning?" "Nothing illegal." That's not an answer. I take a sip of coffee and consider how much to tell him. Mike's a good lawyer and a better brother, but he's also ethically bound to discourage anything that might be considered harassment or intimidation. I'm just gathering information, making sure I understand the full scope of what I'm dealing with. "What kind of information?" "The kind that might be relevant in divorce proceedings." A long pause. "David, be careful. I know you're hurt, but don't do anything that could come back to bite you." "I won't. Promise me." "I promise I won't do anything illegal." After we hang up, I drive to the public library and spend 2 hours researching Jennifer's business. Elegant Events has been operating for 8 years, with Jennifer as the primary owner and creative director. Her business partner, Monica, handles the administrative side. Their client list reads like a who's who of the local social scene. Politicians, doctors, lawyers, old money families who've been using the same caterers and florists for generations. Conservative people who value tradition and propriety above all else. Perfect. I create a fake email account and start researching their recent events. Social media makes it easy. Every wedding, every party, every corporate function is documented in excruciating detail across multiple platforms. I also research Damien Crawford. 28 years old, originally from California, moved here 18 months ago to work for a high-end event planning firm. Specializes in destination weddings and celebrity events. His Instagram account has 30,000 followers and showcases a lifestyle that screams success and sophistication. But something doesn't add up. The timeline is wrong. According to Jennifer's messages, they started their affair 3 months ago. But Damien's been commenting on her social media posts for over a year. Innocent comments at first, professional compliments, industry networking, but gradually becoming more personal, more frequent. This wasn't a sudden attraction. This was a calculated seduction. I screenshot everything and organize it chronologically. The pattern becomes clear. Damien targeted Jennifer deliberately, probably because he knew about her connections and her client base. The affair wasn't about love, it was about business, and Jennifer was too flattered by the attention to see it. My phone buzzes. Text message from an unknown number. "Saw your wife at the Marriott again yesterday. Thought you should know." I stare at the message. Yesterday was after our kitchen table conversation, after she agreed to a clean break, after she promised to have her lawyer draw up papers. She's still seeing him. I text back, "Who is this?" The response comes immediately. "Someone who thinks you deserve better. Room 412, same as always. They're not even trying to hide it anymore." I drive to the Marriott and park across the street. Sure enough, Jennifer's car is in the lot. I wait 3 hours, taking photos when they finally emerge together. Damien has his arm around her waist. She's laughing at something he said. They look happy, carefree, like people who've successfully gotten away with something. That night, I create a simple website using a free hosting service. Nothing fancy. Just a clean, professional-looking page with a single purpose. The header reads, "The Truth About Elegant Events." Below that, I post a carefully worded statement. As a former client of Elegant Events, I feel obligated to share my experience with others who might be considering their services. While Jennifer Pierce's professional work is adequate, potential clients should be aware of her personal conduct and how it might reflect on your special day. During the planning of our event, Mrs. Pierce engaged in an inappropriate relationship with a vendor, conducting their affair during business hours and using client meetings as cover for personal rendezvous. This behavior continued for months, demonstrating a concerning lack of professionalism and ethical judgment. I cannot in good conscience recommend a service provider who would compromise their professional responsibilities for personal gratification. There are many talented event planners in our city who maintain appropriate boundaries and treat their clients with respect. I don't mention names or specific details, nothing libelous or legally actionable, just enough truth to plant seeds of doubt. Then I submit the URL to search engines and wait. The next morning, I drive past Jennifer's office. Her car is there, along with several others I don't recognize. Through the window, I can see people gesturing animatedly. A crisis meeting, maybe. My phone rings. Jennifer. You son of a bastard. Good morning to you, too. Take it down. Now. Take what down? You know exactly what. The website. The lies. I don't know what you're talking about. Don't play games with me, David. I know it was you. Prove it. A long pause. I can hear voices in the background, urgent and worried. What do you want? I want my wife to stop cheating on me. We're getting divorced. What I do with my personal life is none of your business. Actually, until those papers are signed, you're still my wife, and what you do reflects on me. This is harassment. This is consequences. She hangs up. I smile and head to the shop, but I'm not done, not even close. The website gets more attention than I expected. Within a week, it's showing up on the first page of search results for Elegant Events. Jennifer's business phone starts ringing, not with new bookings, but with existing clients asking uncomfortable questions. I know this because I've been monitoring her social media accounts. The confident professional posts have stopped. Instead, there are defensive statements about maintaining the highest standards and addressing false accusations. The more she protests, the more guilty she looks. But the real breakthrough comes from an unexpected source, Monica, Jennifer's business partner. She calls me on a Thursday afternoon while I'm working on a transmission rebuild. We need to talk, she says, without introduction. I'm sorry, who is this? Monica Hartwell, Jennifer's partner. I know what you're doing. I'm rebuilding a transmission, pretty boring stuff. Cut the act, David. I know about the website. I know you're trying to destroy our business. That's a serious accusation. It's also accurate. The question is, what's it going to take to make you stop? I set down my wrench and give her my full attention. I'm listening. Meet me tonight. Denny's on Route 9, 8 o'clock. Why would I do that? Because I have information you want. About Jennifer and Damien. She hangs up before I can respond. I spend the rest of the day wondering if it's a trap. Maybe Jennifer sent Monica to negotiate, or to gather evidence of harassment. But curiosity wins out over caution. Denny's at 8 p.m. is exactly what you'd expect. Fluorescent lighting, tired waitresses, and the lingering smell of coffee that's been sitting too long. Monica is already there when I arrive, sitting in a corner booth with her back to the wall. She's younger than Jennifer, maybe early 30s, with short brown hair and intelligent eyes. I've met her a few times at company events, but we've never really talked. Thanks for coming, she says, as I slide into the booth across from her. Thanks for the mystery invitation. Very dramatic. She doesn't smile. This isn't funny, David. You're destroying 8 years of work. I'm not destroying anything. I'm just sharing information. Carefully crafted information designed to damage our reputation. Is any of it untrue? She hesitates. That's not the point. Actually, that's exactly the point. If it's true, then you have a problem that's bigger than my website. The waitress comes over and we both order coffee. Monica waits until she's gone before continuing. Jennifer made a mistake, a big one, but she's not the villain you're painting her as. Really? What would you call someone who cheats on their spouse for 3 months? Human. That's generous. Look, I don't condone what she did, but I understand it. Your marriage has been over for years. You both know it. So that makes adultery okay? It makes it understandable. The coffee arrives. Monica adds cream and sugar while organizing her thoughts. You want to know the truth about Jennifer and Damien? She says finally. I'm all ears. It started as a business relationship. Damien was freelancing for several firms in the city, including ours. He's good at what he does. Creative, organized, great with clients. And great with married women, apparently. He pursued her, David, aggressively. Flowers, compliments, invitations to industry events. Jennifer was flattered by the attention. Poor Jennifer, seduced against her will. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying she was vulnerable, and he took advantage of that. How noble of him. Monica leans forward. You think this is about love? You think they're riding off into the sunset together? Aren't they? Damien is using her. He wants her client list, her business connections, her reputation. Once he gets established in Chicago, he'll dump her and start his own firm. I study her face, looking for signs of deception. How do you know this? Because I've seen his business plan. Jennifer showed it to me last week, all excited about their future together. Damien Crawford Events, launching next spring with an exclusive client roster and proven track record. Jennifer's client roster. Exactly. He's been copying our files, our vendor contacts, our pricing structures, everything we've built over 8 years. The pieces start falling into place. That's why you called me. You're not trying to save Jennifer's marriage. You're trying to save your business. Both, maybe. Jennifer is my friend, but she's also my partner. If she moves to Chicago and takes our clients with her, I'm left with nothing. So what do you want from me? Help me stop them. I lean back in the booth, processing this new information. What kind of help? You have evidence of their affair, photos, messages, hotel receipts. That gives you leverage. I'm already using that leverage. Not effectively. The website is causing damage, but it's not stopping them. They're still planning to leave next month. So we make it impossible for them to take our clients. How? Monica reaches into her purse and pulls out a manila folder. Damien's been sloppy. He's been using our office computer to research Chicago venues, copying client files to his personal email, even using our business credit card for personal expenses. She slides the folder across the table. Inside are printouts of emails, credit card statements, and file access logs. This is corporate espionage, I say. This is protecting our business. What do you want me to do with this? Nothing illegal. Just make sure the right people see it at the right time. I close the folder and hand it back to her. I'm not interested in corporate warfare. Then what are you interested in? Justice. This is justice. Damien is stealing from us. Jennifer is betraying 8 years of partnership. They both deserve consequences. Maybe, but I'm not your hired gun. Monica's face hardens. Fine, then I'll handle it myself. Good luck with that. I stand to leave, but she grabs my arm. David, wait. There's something else. Something you need to know. I sit back down reluctantly. Jennifer's been embezzling money from the business. The words hit me like a physical blow. What? Small amounts, nothing that would trigger an audit. But it adds up. She's been skimming cash payments from clients and transferring money from our business account to a personal account I didn't know existed. How much? $40,000 over the past 6 months. I stare at her, trying to process this information. Why are you telling me this? Because she's been using that money to fund her affair with Damien. Hotel rooms, expensive dinners, weekend trips. She's been stealing from our business to pay for her betrayal of your marriage. The coffee tastes like ash in my mouth. Do you have proof? Bank records, transaction logs, client payment discrepancies. Everything you need. She slides another folder across the table. This one is thicker, more detailed. What do you want in return? I want you to use this information to stop them from leaving. Make it clear that if they try to take our clients to Chicago, this evidence goes public. I flip through the documents. The evidence is damning. Clear patterns of financial impropriety that would destroy Jennifer's reputation and possibly land her in legal trouble. This is bigger than divorce proceedings, I say. This is criminal. Only if someone presses charges. Are you planning to? That depends on whether they cooperate. I close the folder and look at Monica with new respect. She's not the innocent business partner I thought she was. She's a woman protecting her investment with whatever tools are available. I need time to think about this. Time is the one thing we don't have. They're planning to announce their departure next week. Then you better hope I make the right decision. I leave her sitting in the booth with her cold coffee and her manila folders full of evidence. Outside, the night air feels cleaner somehow, like I've escaped something toxic. But as I drive home, I can't stop thinking about those bank records. $40,000. Stolen from the business she built with Monica, used to fund an affair that destroyed our marriage. Jennifer didn't just betray me. She betrayed everyone who trusted her. And that changes everything. I spend 3 days reviewing Monica's evidence before making my decision. The financial records are damning, a clear pattern of theft that would be impossible to explain away. But more than that, they reveal the true scope of Jennifer's deception. This wasn't just an affair, it was a calculated plan to steal money, steal clients, and abandon the business she'd built with Monica. Jennifer wasn't just betraying me, she was betraying everyone who trusted her. On Saturday morning, I drive to the house I used to call home. Jennifer's car is in the driveway along with Damien's silver BMW. They're not even pretending to be discreet anymore. I use my key to let myself in. The sound of laughter comes from the kitchen, along with the smell of expensive coffee and fresh pastries. They're having breakfast together at the table where Jennifer and I used to plan our future. "Good morning," I say from the doorway. Jennifer jumps like she's been electrocuted. Damien nearly chokes on his coffee. "David, what are you doing here?" "I live here, remember? You said you were staying at the shop." I change my mind. I walk to the counter and pour myself coffee from their expensive machine. They watch me like I'm a dangerous animal that might attack without warning. "We were just discussing the Chicago move," Damien says, trying to sound casual. Jennifer's excited about the opportunity. I bet she is. New city, new business, new life, very romantic. "David, please don't make this harder than it has to be," Jennifer says. "Actually, I wanted to make it easier. That's why I'm here." I sit down at the table across from them and pull out Monica's folders. "I've been thinking about our conversation the other night, about fresh starts and new opportunities, and I realized you're right. You deserve to be happy." Relief flickers across their faces. "But there are some loose ends we need to tie up first." The relief vanishes. I open the first folder and spread out the financial records. $40,000, Jennifer. Stolen from your business over 6 months. Her face goes white. "That's not... I didn't..." Bank records don't lie. Neither do transaction logs. You've been skimming cash payments and transferring money from the business account to a personal account. I was going to pay it back. With what? You're unemployed, remember? You quit your job to run away with pretty boy here. Damien leans forward. "Now wait a minute. I'm not talking to you yet." I keep my eyes on Jennifer. $40,000. Used to pay for hotel rooms, expensive dinners, weekend getaways. You stole from Monica to fund your affair. It's not stealing. It's my business too. Not according to your partnership agreement. Monica owns 51%. You're a minority partner who's been embezzling from the majority owner. Jennifer's hands are shaking now. "What do you want?" "I want the truth. All of it. Starting with when this really began. She glances at Damien, who nods almost imperceptibly. 18 months ago, she says quietly. At the Morrison wedding. 18 months, not 3 months like you told me. I didn't want to hurt you more than necessary. How considerate. And the plan to steal Monica's clients? Another glance at Damien. That wasn't... We weren't... Yes, you were. I opened the second folder and spread out the corporate espionage evidence. Client lists copied to personal email accounts, vendor contracts downloaded to external drives, business credit card used for personal expenses. Damien finally speaks up. Those were legitimate business expenses. A weekend in Napa Valley is a legitimate business expense? We were researching venues for a client. Which client? He doesn't answer. Here's what's going to happen, I continue. You're going to return every dime you stole from the business. You're going to delete every client file you copied. And you're going to sign a non-compete agreement that prevents you from contacting any Elegant Events clients for 2 years. And if we refuse? Jennifer asks. Then Monica files criminal charges for embezzlement. I file for divorce and demand full disclosure of all financial records. And every client on your contact list gets copies of these documents, along with the photos and messages from your affair. You can't do that. Watch me. I stand up and walk to the window, looking out at the neighborhood where we used to be happy. You know what the funny thing is? I actually came here to let you go. I was ready to sign divorce papers and wish you well. You still can, Damien says desperately. No, I can't, because this isn't about love or following your heart or any of the romantic nonsense you've been telling yourselves. This is about theft. This is about 2 people who decided to build their happiness on the ruins of other people's lives. I turn back to face them. Monica trusted you, Jennifer. She invested 8 years of her life in building that business with you, and you were planning to steal it from her. I built that business too, and you were going to destroy it for a man you barely know. I love him. You love what he represents. Success, sophistication, escape from your boring life with your boring husband. But love doesn't justify theft. Jennifer starts crying, big dramatic tears that might have moved me a year ago. Now they just look like manipulation. Please, David, don't do this. We'll pay back the money. We'll delete the files. Just let us go. It's too late for that. Why? What changed? I look at Damien, who's been unusually quiet during this exchange. Tell her. Tell me what? Tell her about the other women. Damien's face goes pale. I don't know what you're talking about. Sure you do. Sarah Martinez in San Diego, Rebecca Thompson in Phoenix, Lisa Chen in Denver. Should I go on? Jennifer looks confused. What other women? Damien's previous conquests. Married women with successful businesses and valuable client lists. He seduced them, convinced them to leave their husbands, helped them steal from their partners, and then disappeared once he got what he needed. That's not true, Damien says, but his voice lacks conviction. I spent yesterday on the phone with 3 different private investigators. Amazing what you can learn when you know what questions to ask. Jennifer stares at Damien like she's seeing him for the first time. Is it true? Jennifer, I can explain. Is it true? His silence is answer enough. Jennifer's tears stop abruptly, replaced by something harder and more dangerous. You bastard. You lying, manipulative bastard. Jennifer, please. What we have is different. I love you. You love my client list. That's not fair. Fair? She laughs, but there's no humor in it. You want to talk about fair? She turns to me. What do you want, David? Really want? I want justice. What does that look like? I sit back down and fold my hands on the table. Damien leaves town, today. He deletes every file he copied, returns every document he stole, and signs a confession admitting to corporate espionage. And me? You pay back the $40,000. You honor your partnership agreement with Monica, and you rebuild the business you tried to destroy. And our marriage? Our marriage is over, but it ends with honesty, not theft. She nods slowly. And if we agree to this? Then we all move on with our lives. No criminal charges, no public humiliation, no scorched earth. And if we don't? Then I destroy you both. The kitchen falls silent except for the ticking of the clock on the wall. Outside, a neighbor is mowing his lawn, the sound of normal life continuing while ours implodes. Finally, Damien speaks. I need my things from the office. Monica will pack them for you. You're not setting foot in that building again. He nods and stands up. Jennifer, I'm sorry. I never meant for it to happen this way. Get out, she says without looking at him. Just get out. After he leaves, Jennifer and I sit in the ruins of our kitchen, surrounded by evidence of betrayal and theft. How long have you known? She asks. About the affair? 3 days? About the theft? Since Thursday? I mean about what kind of person I really am. I consider the question seriously. I think I've always known. I just chose not to see it. Why? Because I loved you, and love makes you stupid sometimes. She nods. What happens now? Now you figure out how to live with the choices you made. And you? I figure out how to build a life without you. I gather up the folders and head for the door. David? I turn back. For what it's worth, I am sorry. I know you are, but sorry doesn't fix anything. I walk out of the house and don't look back. 3 hours later, Monica calls to tell me Damien is gone. He cleaned out his desk, returned the copied files, and left town without saying goodbye to anyone. Jennifer will pay back the stolen money and honor her partnership agreement. The business will survive, though it will take time to rebuild trust with their clients. As for me, I go back to my garage and get back to work. There are engines to rebuild, transmissions to repair, and a life to reconstruct from the ground up. It's not the ending I wanted, but it's the ending I earned. And sometimes, that's enough. The rain starts falling again as I close up the shop for the night. But this time, it sounds like possibility instead of accusation. And for the first time in months, that's enough.